So welcome to week 7, and here we are talking about transformative development in work and social contexts. We're bridging from talking about being a transformative learner and leader, and we've had some really good conversations about that and how we can use self-directed learning to help us achieve those goals. And your matrices looked really good, that they look like they are instruments that you actually can utilize, which I'm hoping that you actually do, in order to be introspective about what your goals are and the assumptions you have about them and the way that you might approach them in a meaningful way, and really what self-directed learning can do to help you maximize your goals. We also had some conversations in our Metagogy forum that have been very interesting as well. And we've also last week been signing up for midterm conversations. Most of us have done that, and as a matter of fact, some of us have already had the midterm conversations. And I hope that that's been useful for you in order to decide what you want to do for your self-directed learning project and really the other projects that we have in this semester. In the conversations I've had thus far with students, we've talked about the career plan, the career roadmap, which is divided in two pieces. The first piece is due, as you can see on the calendar over here, is due at the end of the week, this week, and this will be basically a draft rather than the full career roadmap, and the remaining roadmap, the full roadmap, will be due at the end of the semester as our last piece. And the reason for that is that we will learn more things that we want to include, especially when we share next week our draft roadmaps with our mentor groups, and you are able to see what others have done as their approaches to their roadmap, and you may think, oh my goodness, I'd like to include that. And this is the opportunity for you to go ahead and do that. We will next week give ourselves both critical feedback and appreciative feedback in order to gain from each other's ideas and thoughts about ways of approaching the career roadmap. So we'll talk just a minute about the specifics for that. Again, that's one of the things we talked about in the midterm conversation. The reason I have a midterm conversation is in order to clear up any misunderstandings or get questions asked that may have not been put forward in the Ask Dr. Karen or other means of communicating with me. And I want you to begin thinking about your self-directed learning project. Those projects typically are more meaningful if they begin earlier in the semester, rather than do them as a project that is due just maybe next week. So as you're thinking about what you might do for that project, think about something that you've wanted to begin learning. Obviously, if you're choosing that you want to learn French, you're not going to get that all done this semester. If you are wanting to begin to learn to improve your public speaking skills, you may not become a master national public speaker by the end of the semester, but you could join Toastmasters and begin public speaking. So there are things that we can do to begin, and we want to, in the self-directed learning project, think about what might be a way to advance our professional and personal goals, and especially toward our careers and desired careers, and choose something that will be beneficial for you to do. And notice the patterns, your approach, and so forth as part of that self-directed learning project. We'll share that toward the in the second half of the semester with each other. So the other project is that there's a perspectives on the leading and learning, and we'll talk about that when we meet together. Our final project, of course, is the second half of our career roadmap. So let's go to what we're doing for this week. We're talking this week about Fullen's views, and chapter 4 in particular. And so we're talking about how we move into a transformative place in the workplace, in our social and leadership capacities, utilizing what we know, what we want to become more comfortable with respect to relationships. Fullen suggests that the role of the leader is to ensure that the organization develops relationships that help produce desirable results. So that's not concrete, is it? And it's a very big ask. We can approach this in a lot of different ways. Ensure that the organization develops relationships that help produce desirable results. Is your employer doing that? Is your supervisor doing that? Are you doing that? We have people who are part of our teams, part of our groups, who are reticent to get on board, especially with new changes that our organizations are embarking upon, and perhaps even in assignments that are very concrete. We can help to motivate those folks using emotional intelligence, which is something that can be learned. So let's take a look at what Fullen suggests and brainstorm some possibilities in both our planned forum conversations and our pedagogical ones. So in this week, for our planned conversation, we're going to really talk about professional development in communities and the relationships that are there. We're going to compare and contrast your current organizational ecology. And by ecology, what I mean is your surroundings. You might work in a kind of a cubicle city where you can hear others, and that may have at least initially been an uncomfortable environment for you. So what can you make uncomfortable ecologies? How can you make it uncomfortable ecologies comfortable? With your desired, compare and contrast how you are right now in your ecology with your desired ecology for optimum transformative learning. What resources do you need? Obviously, if you live in a cubicle environment, you're not going to probably get your employer to give you a hard wall office with a door, at least immediately. And yet there are some things you can do to make this a comfortable environment. Other environments you may have may not be exactly the way you would like them, but we can do some things. If you have an office that may be hard-walled but without a door or without a window, obviously you've got a door, without a window, what can you do? Maybe you can hang a picture that looks like a window. How can you make your environment the learning environment for you, the leading environment for you? What can you do about relationships? What can you possibly do to provide yourself with a mentor? How can you collaborate with others to your benefit and really to theirs, to a mutual benefit? How might you develop relationships that help you and them achieve personal and professional career goals? So that's what we're going to talk about this week. In our pedagogical form, we're going to talk about our social media, our outward facing, not just media, but what we have as really our outward facing approach that we give to others, how they see us, and look, kind of investigate, kind of explore even what we have as our message on our phone. So what messages are we giving others? What message do we give others when they greet us? On the phone, in our email, when they darken our doorway. So when they approach us in Facebook, when they see us in all of our various elements. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I want you to share those pieces with your mentor groups so that they can help you see, and in a critical and appreciative way, the messaging you may be giving others in your ecologies. So let's take a look then at our career roadmap one more time, recognizing it is due at the end of the week. So the roadmap can be graphical, it can be an outline, it can be a fishbone diagram, it can be a matrix, it can be whatever way you wish it to be as far as the formatting. So these are the questions that could be asked. So let's suppose that you choose to present your career roadmap as a PowerPoint. Obviously, you're not going to be able to answer all of these questions in a graphical way right on the first slide. So, but you could provide a flow diagram on a slide, and then you can drill down to show milestones that go beneath that high-level diagram. And as you drill down, you can answer some of these questions and do them on subsequent slides. So that might be one way that you can approach this. Certainly, if you utilize project management software, it's quite possible to build in links that you can answer questions of this nature as well as others. But most of us probably don't have that kind of robust software available to us. So let's be creative in the way that we approach it. As you submit it, recognize that I need to be able to have the software that in order to understand and evaluate your roadmap and give you feedback on it. It is possible, however, for you to use a link to YouTube or something else that I can see, and you could use a Prezi or a Wix or some other, like a Wix is a free website that you can create, and that might be a useful way that you can create your career roadmap. Whatever you choose, have fun with it, and I hope most of all that you're making it very useful for you. And I look forward to seeing them, and I look forward to our conversations this week. Have a great week. Week 7. My goodness, we're approaching midterm. See you in the forums.